Hey there, are you ready to sell your course on Thinkific, but you're not quite sure how to get the final pieces in place? Then this video is for you. Today I'm gonna share with you how to create your sales page on Thinkific, and not just how to do it, but I'm gonna explain to you the thought process behind putting the right words on your sales page so that you know it's gonna fly off the shelves as soon as you're ready to open the doors. All right, you ready? Let's get started. Alrighty, now this is going to be a little bit of a how-to as well as a actual teaching style training. So I'm going to be flipping back and forth between these two tabs. This is my guide, a simple guide on how to write a sales page. And then I also have Thinkific pulled up, and I'm going to show you how to create a sales page in here. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is just create a new course in Thinkific. And I'm just gonna choose a blank course and we'll just name this sales page course. And once we get finished with this, then you'll be able to not only watch this video inside of the course, but I'll also tell you exactly how you can get this guide inside of this course, okay? All right, so we're just gonna call it sales page course. Normally when I create courses, I name them. I take some time to think about the name and how I want to name it. So for example, 10K sales sprint or package and profit. But this one we're just going to keep really simple and call it sales page course. If I do change it in the future, just know that it might change, but for now, that's what we're going to call it. Okay. I have another video on how to actually create a course in Thinkific, so I'm not going to go over that right now, but after you finish creating your course, the next thing that you're going to want to do is actually build the landing page, and that's what I'm going to cover in this video. And the landing page, also known as sales page, is what people see or your clients see when they come to purchase your course. Thinkific has a really cool site builder where you'll be able to actually build the sales page, but you might notice as soon as you come to the page, there's not very much design on it. It's basically the title, and then, there's a couple of different sections in there. So first we're going to go over the design, and then we'll talk about what to fill in, and I'll share with you some of the things that I have here. Okay. So let me just make sure that you can see everything on the screen. I might need to move this over just a little bit. All right, so with Thinkific, it's a drag and drop block editor. So you might notice that there is a header, then there's a banner section, a curriculum section, and a footer. And that's exactly what we have here. We have the header, we have this banner section, the curriculum, and then we have the footer down here. The header and the footer are going to be the same on any page that you create, and you might notice right here that it says default, and then also here on the left it says default. So that is something that you would change on the back end of Thinkific, not inside of the actual landing page builder. Usually what I like to start my landing pages off with is a text-based section. And so with this one, I'll just choose the drop down, and I like to do text and media. This is going to give you a lot more flexibility for when you choose to actually put something on the sales page. This actually also lends itself really well to typing in your headline and then putting some content in. So I'm just going to add that in as a filler, and if you're following along, then that will be the first thing you put in. The next thing that I usually have on my sales pages is the intro to what that person is actually purchasing. So usually what that is it's just an image. So I'm going to add an image here. Let me go ahead and save this so I can get that out of the way. Image and text with call to action. And every time you add something new, just notice that it's going to automatically pop at the bottom, but you can always move it up. Okay, so now we've got the image and text with call to action, and I'm likely going to move this, so don't worry about what it looks like right now. We're just essentially creating the filler areas. After I have the image that talks about the course and what they're actually buying, then underneath it, will likely have some sort of testimonial or something like that. So there's also a really cool section that they have, which is a social proof section, and you can choose social proof testimonials. So we'll move that up. Okay. Then after the social proof or testimonials, I want to do a call to action so that we can go ahead and ask them to go ahead and purchase. So we'll just do call to action. And move that up. And I typically don't use this banner course thing, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this section. The only reason I don't like it is because the text is always overlaid on whatever image I put on there, and I can never get it to look the way that I want it to, so I just customize the entire thing myself. Okay, so we'll save it so far. Then the curriculum, I'm going to move up because as soon as I share what the actual course is with the image, I'm going to go ahead and put the curriculum in there. So I just moved that up. Now we've got the social proof, testimonials, and call to action. So this is pretty much done. It's like a bare minimum, but if you'd like to continue and keep building out the landing page, the next thing that I would do is I would typically add in bonuses, more social proof, and another call to action. So I'll go ahead and do that. They do have a bonus material section, so you can add that. And then I'll do another social proof, testimonials, and then in this one I actually might do a video. So I'm gonna delete that section and then I'm gonna add a video instead. Then I'll add another call to action. And if you were to already design one of them, you could also just click this copy section, but since I haven't designed it yet and I'm just using placeholders, then I'm just gonna add another one there. Okay, and then that's it. That'll be the final call to action. So I will save that. So this is what your landing page looks like so far. It's text and media, image and text with call to action, course curriculum, the social proof with testimonials, then a call to action, the bonus material, and then I'm going to add another testimonial video and then a call to action. So a lot of these colors and fonts and everything is going to get changed and updated when we move on to the next piece. All right, so now that we have our sales page or landing page essentially blocked out, what I'd like to do next is start adding the content. So I want to share with you how I typically write a sales page. The first thing that I want to share with you is a resource. So some of you're not quite sure what a sales page looks like, or you're concerned that, maybe you're not adding the right things. You just want to see what some examples are. So this is a really cool website that I like called swipefile.com. And if you go to swipefile.com/sales-pages, you'll be able to see some examples of sales pages. So this is, as you can see, it's really, really good resource. There's lots of different examples here. So definitely go check it out. Don't overwhelm yourself. Your sales page does not have to be as long as some of these are. As you can see, this is one sales page that's very, very, very long right here in the middle. So use this as a tool. It's just another tool. It's another resource that you can use to kind of check out. There's a lot of other options on this SwipeFile website. If you'd like to see examples of sign-up forms, restaurant signs, profile photos, for example. So definitely check it out. It's just swipefile.com. Okay, and once again, I'm gonna include this as a resource inside of this mini course that I'm creating. So if you'd like to get a copy of this, as well as get the full training and any other potential bonuses that I might create, then all you have to do is click the link in the description for more details on how to get it. When I write a sales page, I start with a formula. Many of you know that I really like formulas when I'm writing my webinar. My anti-webinar formula is one of the easiest ways to write a webinar, and I use formulas as well for sales pages. So the formula that I use is one that was invented and or popularized by Gary Halbert, and it's called the AIDA formula. Okay, so each letter stands for a word and a section of your sales page. So what I'm going to do is just zoom in just a little bit more to make sure that everything is very clear. So the A stands for attention, the I stands for interest, the D stands for desire, and the second A stands for action. In general, your sales page is going to follow this formula, and sometimes these last couple can be mixed and matched and repeated over and over again. But in general, we've got attention, interest, desire, and action. Now, if we go back over to the example that I created, you might notice that this top one is going to be attention. This next section is going to be interest. And then we're going to build that desire with what's actually included, as well as with the social proof and testimonials. And then here's the call to action. So it already follows that structure. And here we're going back again with desire, right? We're coming back again with bonus material. Once again, desire with this testimonial video, and then another call to action. So this landing page and the sales page is going to follow this formula as well. So when you're creating a sales page or a landing page, there's a couple of options. So the first section that I have here is for your free offer, but then I also have one for your immediate upsell. And so what we're going to do is we're essentially going to create this as if it were an immediate upsell. Okay. Immediate upsell just means after someone signs up for your free offer, then you offer them something that is a paid offer. So I'm going to skip this section since I'm not teaching you how to do an immediate upsell, but maybe that's another lesson for another day. And we're also going to skip this section and we're going to jump right into headline. Okay. And I've also color coded these so that you can see headline, story, desire, what it is, how to get it. I've color coded it to the same colors that I did up here at the top for the actual formula. Okay. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is headline, but you notice that I have here write this last, and that's simply because the headline is your hook. It should be the most catchy thing that's on your page, but it's difficult to write the headline first until you see how the rest of the page has been built out. So I recommend coming around to this and writing it last. You can absolutely create a placeholder headline. And so that's what I'll do in this case is I'll just create like a little placeholder headline. Once again, if you go to swipefile.com and click headlines, you'll be able to see some examples of high converting or attention grabbing headlines. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here, click text/media and headings, and then I'm going to change this to the headline. Okay, you can do a heading and a subheading. I'm going to give this a center alignment for that headline, and that's usually how I like to do my headlines. Then the content here, I always change the font size to around 16. So this one shows 18. That one should work. If you're not quite liking that, you can always go to code view and then you can just change the font size there. Okay. So this is my catchy headline. This is where the story starts. The next piece is the story, right? So what I put inside of my sales page is I always start off with the story. I will either introduce myself or I'll start telling the story of a client. And when you do this, just explain how things are right now and that outcome that ideal client wants, the reason that they're considering purchasing this course. But then what you want to do is you want to transition into where they are now. So explain to them why it wasn't always like this and what your life was like before. Then as you continue on in the story, you want to dig deeper and start transitioning into the desire by using questions or establishing them as the ideal client by using questions. For example, you could say something like, are you tired of blank? Has this ever happened to you? Would you like a process to blank? Right? So you can use questions to dig deeper into the desire. The answer to those questions that you ask should always be yes as you're creating your sales page. Okay, and once again, the other option is a third-party story talking about your client or your client's results. So as an example, I might do something here to say, have you ever felt like someone was following your every move? And so this might be a product on learning to stand out. Other people copy what you do, but you never seem to get noticed for your talents. Sound familiar? Okay, notice that this should be a yes and this should be a yes. And the idea behind this is at the very beginning, I want to make sure that they should not keep reading if they're not my ideal client. So in order to do that, I'm going to establish first with questions. That's usually how I like to write my sales pages. And then I might say something like, hi, I'm LaTisha, and I know exactly how you feel. Okay, and then I'll go into a little bit more of my story, why I understand where they are, and so on and so forth. Okay. Alrighty. Then the next piece is desire. Now this is still all in this text-based content. You can continue establishing with questions, draw out that story more, and then bullet point it out. At this point, so I would continue going into the story, but now at this point I might do a bullet point of imagine, right? Imagine what life would be like if you were the one that received all the credit, something like that. So obviously this is a product that I haven't created, but it's kind of intriguing to me, but this is essentially what I would do. So I would go a little bit more into this story and then I would start bullet pointing it out. And you can break this section up since it's a lot of text. You can just use these like different paragraphs, and you can add bullet points and you can add quotations and things like that. So the reason I like starting with this text media section is because it's very flexible. Just make sure that you are saving as you go, because it is going to, it won't auto save. It'll allow you to discard your changes. So I recommend, like, after you finish typing, just go ahead and click save. All right, the next step is we're going to explain what it is, and that will take us into the next section. So we're going to get out of this text and media section, and before I get there, you can also rename these sections. So if you click that, you can call it introduction. And that's helpful when you have several text media sections, or they continue, your sales page continues to grow. It's helpful to know what these sections are. All right, so then the next thing I'll do is I would want to introduce the course. So I might say something like introducing a sales page. Okay, sometimes I use the description. Usually my description is like a 3-part video series to help you write a sales page. And I guess I should have written the copy above it as a sales page copy, but I'll come back to that and do that later. Okay, then you want to add an image, and this one you can only upload. So you can do it by using a link, going to Facebook, Instagram, or Google Drive. So I think I have an image on my desktop of a course that I just did. So let me see if I can just grab that, because it'll make it really easy for me to do it. So usually what I do is I'll create like a little image in Canva, and this is something that I just created in Canva. So I'm just gonna pretend like that's the image of the course. Now, one thing that I really like about this, and this one I might do enroll now, and we're gonna pretend that there is a checkout page, sales page course, okay, and then I'm just gonna hit save. Now, one thing that I'm gonna do right here before I go any further is I wanna check it on mobile, because the majority of your clients, the majority of people right now are accessing websites via mobile. Mobile traffic is starting to become around 60 to 70% of all web traffic. So you definitely want to make sure that, you take a look at your website via mobile. And via mobile, the image comes first and then the text comes here. So I might want to change that in my settings. And you can do that by coming here to, let's see. Oh, it looks like you can't move the image down. So what I might do instead is I might just do an image and then maybe put text underneath it, but I guess this looks fine. Okay. There's a lot of flexibility inside of Thinkific when creating the landing page, but if you want even more flexibility, then you'll just have to build out the sections sort of individually. So if you just want an image, you'll just choose image, and then you'll put another text section or something like that. Or I could have chosen this text media section and then just added the image there, and then it wouldn't have had this enroll now button or the option to do that. Okay, then we're gonna come here. The curriculum is a smart section, so there's nothing that you need to actually edit in here. It's just gonna pull from what you actually build in the course once you build it. All right, and so let me just go back to the training real quick to make sure that we are covering everything. So once again, you just want to describe your course in as much detail as possible, then share with them how to get it and be explicit. And that's simply this call to action section. So for this, I'll click in here and I'll say, I usually like using enroll now. And then I might say something like, and I try not to edit myself as I type, because I usually go back in and check the grammar and spelling of everything after. Okay, and then the button, I always just say, this is just how I do it. I personally usually just use enroll now, all caps. And then once again, we're gonna take them to the checkout page and we're gonna choose sales page course. And then this one is free right now because I don't have a price in there. And if you go to the video on how to create a course in Thinkific, you'll be able to see how to change that pricing and everything. You also have the option to hide the button and just make the entire section clickable, but I'm just gonna leave the button there. And then once again, we'll come back around to the bonus material and I'll add that next testimonial via video and then a call to action. Now, since I don't have a testimonial for this course yet because I just built it, this will likely just be a video of me explaining why you need to get it. And so when you see the final page and you come to it, then you'll see exactly what it looks like. But this is essentially how I build out my sales pages. If I'm going to build them directly in Thinkific, I don't always build them directly in Thinkific. I usually use WordPress, but when I'm building inside of Thinkific, and just to keep it very simple, I use the site builder, and this is how I build them out. Once again, if you'd like to get a copy of this guide on how to write a sales page, because there's just a little bit more that you can add and include this resource guide, all you have to do is click the link in the description and I will be sure to send you a copy so that you can follow along as you create your own sales page. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. All right, so I hope that was helpful. If you need more help on getting students into your course or getting clients into your coaching program, then you definitely want to head over to you'vegotclients.com. I've got lots of resources there that will help you to create and fill your coaching program. So thanks so much for joining me. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you have any ideas on additional videos that you'd like me to create, just comment them below. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you know exactly when my next videos come up. In the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.